we're gonna start with some pictures, and then I'll take you everywhere that I went, except for roof, attic, and under the house. If you can come over here so you can see the pictures.
Sure.
You don't have to remember anything I tell you, because they'll all be in the report,
Got it.
including the pictures.
Understand.
During a home inspection, I'm gonna find things that should be corrected, and I say should, because house in California is sold as is, right? Only thing that has to be done is the retrofit inspection in the city of Los Angeles, okay? Everything else is negotiable. Most important things are roofs, because they protect everything. Managing water is important, because it can be destructive, and then anything that's related to safety, electrical, fire, health, okay? So, you got a new roof, probably within the last year. We have disclosures on that?
Yeah, it was in the TDS and SBQ. A new roof was put in within the last year to year and a half.
Nice, okay. So the roof looks good. There is some debris on the roof. I would, you know, keep an eye on the junipers, make sure the roof is always kept clean, especially when you get over to the flat roof section above the covered patio, because that'll prevent the roof from draining properly.
Got it.
Back to the chimney. This is a lined masonry unit. You can see the liner here. It should have a weather cap spark arrestor on the top. Well, we've got a grid there for sparks, but it should have a weather cap on the top so water doesn't go in. The crown should be resealed, and we've got a couple issues with the firebox, and we'll talk about that when we move inside. So for heating and cooling, you've got a furnace with an evaporator coil in the attic, and it works in conjunction with the rooftop condensing unit to produce the cool air. The gutters below the flat roof, because of the junipers, they're dirty, need to be cleaned. All exterior outlets should have GFCI protection, so this service outlet on the condensing unit should be changed to a GFCI outlet. It's sitting on two skids made of untreated wood, and they should be primed.
It's like a railroad tie or something?
No, it's a 4x4, but it's not pressure treated.
Got it.
And it should have been on a pressure treated piece of wood, or two of them. In the absence of that, I would seal it to protect it from the elements. What's his name?
Wani.
Hey, Lonnie,
Yeah.
we're gonna walk through the house again, so can you leave the lights on?
Sorry?
We're gonna walk the property, so can
Oh.
you leave the lights on?
Sure.
Thanks. I turned them off here so that we can see the pictures,
Sure.
photos better. Thank you. This is a refrigerant line. It carries the cool refrigerant back to the evaporator coil in the attic. The insulation separated, needs to be repaired. Going around the house now, we've got openings in the foundation vent screens that should be sealed so we don't get pests under the house. We've got a trip hazard on the north side of the house because the junipers have lifted the walkway. Gas is on the south side of the house with earthquake shut off. Main water shut off. Pressure regulator and pressure relief valve are at the front of the house. And it looks like we have irrigation leaks or overwatering both in the front and rear of the property that should be investigated further. Water pressure is appropriately regulated below 80 PSI. And you got a 50-gallon water heater in the garage. The lower strap's a little too high. It's supposed to be 4 inches above the controls, okay? It's got a metal pipe, typical for the time period in the attic, which I'll show you, not a very good picture, but there is a transite pipe. It was made by Johns Manville. It's got asbestos in it, but it's not in the living space. It goes through the attic, through the roof. It's not that big of a deal, okay? The ventilation ports in the garage have been blocked, and they need to be opened up for automobiles and because we have 2 combustion appliances, a gas dryer and a gas water heater, okay? Got a 200 amp electrical panel next to the garage. It's too close to this metal gate, and that's a potential shock hazard. There should be at least 3 feet of separation, so I would move this gate on this side of the panel, and then if you want to lock it out, well, you got a rolling gate at the front of the property, so if that stays, you're secure. So for the safety of anyone working on the panel, I would relocate it 3 feet to this side of the panel. I took off the cover, breakers look good, wiring looks good, it's grounded to a water pipe. Going into the kitchen, you got a downdraft exhaust fan. And it's really greasy. When you hit the up button, it doesn't come up all the way without assistance. It doesn't go down all the way without assistance. The filters are dirty and needs to be cleaned. The motor's probably really dirty because it's got poor draw. They're using a corrugated duct material, which you're not supposed to use with this application because it can trap grease. So that should be changed out to smooth duct like that. There's a few other things that we'll talk about the kitchen when we get there. This is, in the cabinet next to bathroom 1 is a GFCI outlet for the hydro spa. Okay?
Mm.
It should have a cover plate on it, and it doesn't. For the fireplace, they're using a rigid aluminum gas line, and today they want this to be flexible to allow some sort of movement. The damper is functional, but it should have a clamp on it to keep it in the open position for safety. And then this is wood material above the firebox, and typically it burns off, but when it doesn't burn off, you need to remove it, okay? And then we've got some openings. The mantle face that they put on
Mm-hmm.
was after the fact, okay? And we've got openings between the firebox and the mantle face, and those should all be sealed for fire safety,
Okay.
okay? Going into the attic, some of the insulation's been moved and it needs to be put back. There should be a platform the whole length of the furnace and evaporator coil, so a technician can safely go up there and stand and work or kneel and work on the system. And for this, in this case, they'd have to straddle ceiling joists, right, to work on it. So it's just safer to have a platform. There's no sediment trap on the gas line. Are you familiar with that?
No.
A sediment trap is a pipe with a cap on the bottom. It creates a T in the gas line. Any gas carrying dirt or debris, it falls out in the trap before going in the gas appliance. And that'll be recommended at the water heater as well. When they put in the recessed lights, they didn't staple the electrical cables to the framing, and they should have. We've got some insulation in the attic that's installed the wrong way. The paper's not supposed to be exposed. That's a fire safety concern. And we've got some old stains under the roof. That you can see, this is the old separated roof deck system. And when they put the new roof on, they put down plywood, okay? So the stains are isolated to the old separated deck system and to the rafters. So
That's in the attic, you're looking at.
yeah, we're looking up, yeah. So those are just old stains,
Got it.
nothing to be concerned about, but I have to point them out. This is the heat vent for the furnace. This is part of the underlayment for the roof. They need to cut this out, and if I had a razor blade or a knife in my pocket, I would have done it. Just cut this material away from this heat vent. There should be at least an inch of separation.
What kind of material is
It's like a waterproof membrane for the decking or for the roof
it? So
jack.
it needs to be removed.
Just cut it, yeah, right here. This is a picture I was talking about. That's the transite pipe. It's the white cement pipe tucked away in the corner in the attic. It has asbestos in it, but it's not that big of a deal, okay? Then going to the backyard, we've got exposed electrical. I would demolish this, set it inside the junction box, put a cover plate on it. That way it can't be inadvertently activated, or if it is, it's protected, okay? It didn't have power when
It's not connected to anything?
I didn't have power when I tested it. All right, so when they put in the rear patio, they've got the deck too high. It's above the weep screed and above the foundation vents, which can allow rainwater to go in there, okay? So again, it'd be really important to make sure that the gutters are kept clean. And
Mm-hmm.
going under the house, typical for the time period, they didn't strap the piers to the posts, to the girders. In modern construction, this would all be tied together. There's a lot of wet soil beneath the master bedroom, going along the south wall and back
Backyard.
toward the backyard. So that could be related to overwatering or an irrigation leak, but you can see the difference between the dry soil and the wet soil. And it looks like the moisture is passing through the concrete wall. This white powder is called efflorescence. It's a salt formation that is left behind when water comes through a foundation wall. So I would improve the grading in the backyard and maybe add area drains, okay, to move water out to the front. You have a couple piers that aren't situated beneath their posts.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't attempt to fix this or alter this one, just set another one right next to it.
Mm.
Post and pier, that would be the easiest thing to do. And there's another one like that. There's been a copper repipe, which is nice. You can see how the old galvanized water pipe is strapped to the floor framing. The new copper water pipe is strapped to the floor framing. But when they ran the irrigation back there, they didn't strap it or the strap is broken, so I would get that strapped up.
Gotta go up.
Yeah, so it doesn't get damaged. You've got a combination of ABS, black plastic, cast iron, and galvanized drain lines, and you can see the connection from the galvanized to the cast iron is the galvanized is corroding, starting to fall apart and disintegrating onto the soil. So I would change out these sections that are damaged. There's a couple of them before they leak. Your insurance company is going to ask you if the home is bolted to its foundation, and there's evidence of foundation bolting right there. And I think, here's that other picture. See how that's offset?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then last thing, I think that's the last picture. No, there's one more. This is part of the copper repipe. You've got a galvanized water pipe in contact with a copper water pipe and an aluminum flexible electrical conduit. Those dissimilar metals can create galvanic corrosion, so they need to be insulated from one another. And typically what they do is they use black tape.
It's just wrapped.
Electrical tape, yeah. And then there's construction debris under the house that should come out, okay? So let's go, actually, yeah, let's go outside before we lose any daylight. All right, so main water shut off, pressure regulator, pressure relief out there. You can see the wet soil there, okay? Got a functional GFCI outlet here. Cracks in all the hard surfaces, but the only real trip hazard is the one on that walkway. Outlets in a garage should have GFCI protection, and these do not. Another outlet over there.
Mm-hmm.
The ventilation ports are blocked. See how the water heater is elevated?
Mm-hmm.
The gas dryer should be set the same distance for gas and fire safety. 18 inches above, yeah. You got a solid core door for fire safety, but it should self-close, okay?
Okay.
And then all the outlets, including the one for the washer and dryer, should have GFCI protection. Let's go this way. So we talked about the electrical panel. I'm gonna put the lock back on for them. And you can see the ventilation ports are blocked if you look under there.
Mm-hmm. How do you unblock them?
There's drywall. Gotta remove that stuff, take off the drywall from it.
Someone else does that.
Yeah, yeah. You see the openings in the foundation vents there. Have you had termite yet?
Yeah. Came back that there weren't any termite, but there was I think treatment was recommended, right?
There was a little bit of dry rot damage, and then there was one spot treatment in the corner here.
That rear outlet should have GFCI protection. It doesn't.
Yeah. First time.
Yeah. And this is where I entered the crawl space, and I was able to go from here under both the bathrooms all the way to the kitchen and come back. So there's really good access under there.
Okay.
Doesn't look like it, but there is. All right, so when it runs as an air conditioner, it produces condensation. This is the primary. It should be fastened to the wall. It's got a secondary here. If you ever see water dripping out of this pipe, you know there's a problem in the attic.
Okay.
Okay? Here's the gas. To turn it off in an emergency, you do it right there. I recommend getting a wrench, putting on a chain and leaving it here.
Okay. Doing all this.
Yeah, I know, it's a lot.
And back to this inside. All right, so this is a 4-bedroom house. So this one at the front, which they're using as an office, is bedroom 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everything's good in bedroom 1. Okay. Living room with dining area, everything's good here. I ran the furnace and the air conditioner, both working well. Kitchen with dining area. Dishwasher, garbage disposal, instant hot water dispenser, microwave oven, electric oven, gas cooktop, all functional. The problem is with the exhaust fan, which needs a little TLC. You've got one functional GFCI outlet there, but today the countertop outlets, the other countertop outlet should have GFCI protection. So we should have them to the left of the sink and the left of the dishwasher. Okay? Let's go hallway and finish up with the bedrooms on that side of the house. All right, so you've got an old smoke alarm here, but she does have security, and sometimes the security devices are smoke alarms as well. But I know from experience that if I take that off, it might set off the alarm system. So if that doesn't have a smoke alarm, then we need a new one in here. Although, having just said that, there will be a retrofit and stuff. All right, I can't get the ceiling fans on without batteries. Otherwise, bedroom 1 is fine. So bathroom 1, you have one functional GFCI outlet here, but this outlet should have GFCI protection. The right sink drains slow. The diverter is defective. I couldn't get water to flow to the shower head, and the hydro spa doesn't come on with the push button, and it does have power.
It does not come on.
Does not come on, but it does have power. Got a got a carbon monoxide alarm here, like you should. There should also be one outside bedroom 1, right? Because this carbon monoxide alarm is too far from bedroom 1 to be effective for that bedroom.
Okay.
Okay. So this is bedroom 3. Again, no battery in the remote control. And this is the only bedroom where the windows are too high by current standard, right? The windows are about 46 inches and the rule is 44, so it's a little high for fire egress. Okay?
Got it.
Same situation with the ceiling fan here. No batteries in the remote control. And then for the master bathroom, sinks are good, stall shower, toilet, got a window, GFCI protected outlets, closets, lights, all good. Okay? That's it.
That's it.